Huh? Hop, yop, grooting.
Well, hey there guys, I'm Axel the Beast, and this is the Curiosity Shop, the ZeldaDungeon.net video mailbag where I answer your Zelda questions. Our first question comes from Melodic. What is your favorite song in the series and why? I would actually probably pick the Stone Tower Temple theme from Majora's Mask, specifically the song that plays when the temple is not flipped, but the flipped version is awesome too. I just thought it was like this really interesting, really cool, creepy, epic, and beautiful at the same time, and mysterious song that was just really interesting to listen to, and one of the more unique songs in the series. Just a really cool song. That's all I have to say on that. I have a lot of favorite songs in this series, but that stands above them for me. But don't forget to tell me what your guys' favorite song is in the comments. Mr. Nosco asks, what would be a theme or gimmick you would like to see in a future Zelda game? This is always an interesting discussion, kind of hard one to say because, you know, there's lots of ideas out there, but I think one that's interested me is kind of like a darkness and light theme. And, you know, before you say, oh, they do that all the time, that was in A Link to the Past, etc., that's not exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about LOL, you know, like Light World, and then LOL like Creepy World. I'm talking a little bit more of an extreme version of that, where you have one area, or one, not even necessarily two separate worlds, like two dimensions or whatever. There's a lot of ways they could do this. But parts of the game where that's very bright, really, you know, like pristine and beautiful looking and very colorful, but also areas where it's just like pitch black and where light is like literally like light in blackness, not just like dark colors or things like that, and like really creepy themes in these areas. I think that would be a really interesting, like, showing it like contrast of these two starkly different themes. I think that would be a very intriguing way to compose a game in general, and even a Zelda game. Corey of School asks, I get confused about the Zelda timeline a lot. Could you please explain it? 42. Awesome asks, it's well known that Zelda's plot is always quite basic. Would you prefer if Nintendo took the time to create a more complex storyline? I know that gameplay is more important, but I feel that a game can become much better if it is accompanied by a well-developed story. Yes and no, because I think that, you know, there was an article posted on Zelda Dungeon's main page a couple weeks back by Hanyu, where he was discussing how the Zelda storylines are great because they're simple. Not that they couldn't be great if they weren't simple, but the simplicity is one of the things that makes them good as they are. And I kind of agree with him on that. I think that that's one element of the series that's kind of like played down, but I think it's actually a strong suit. But that doesn't mean they couldn't add in more to it and it wouldn't make a good game. And I don't think necessarily having more developed storyline necessarily means the storyline can't be simple, can't be kind of straightforward. Just because there's more details added in doesn't necessarily make it automatically more complex. That might seem kind of wrong at first, but I think it's like more like you have a simple basis, a simple idea, but you have a lot of things in that idea that, you know, flesh it out. I think that they can do that, and I don't think they should do it every game, but it would be interesting to see for sure. Mr. Mo the Moblin asks, since Ganon died in the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, do you think Nintendo are done with him as a character, since it doesn't seem like he's appearing in Skyward Sword either? You know, Ganon has died. He died in those games, yeah, but he died in the original Legend of Zelda. He died in A Link to the Past. He died in the Oracle games. You know, he just keeps dying. Every game he appears in, except Ocarina of Time, he dies. You know, this is the thing where he's like, the villain just gets revived. You know, the villain doesn't stay down. He comes back no matter what. It's one of those phenomenon. And no, there's no way they're done with him. He keeps coming back. There's always games in between each game with Ganon where he doesn't appear, but he always comes back because he's the main villain of the series. It's like Bowser. I mean, just because they made Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door didn't mean Bowser wasn't in the next game. He was in Paper Mario the Thousand-Year Door. But, you know, it's just that, you know, Skyward Sword's a prequel to the series, so clearly they're, you know, going back to the series' roots a little bit. But, Ganon will probably be in the next major game, or at least one of the next major games. You haven't seen the last of him. Jake Protagonist asks, you know how the name of most of the provinces are named after the light spirits first seen in Twilight Princess? Well, how come the areas, for the most part, as far as we know anyway, in both Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword have the same names, while in Ocarina of Time, the areas have different names? Well, I think it's kind of like a bit of a retcon thing. You know, they changed what was established in the earlier parts of the series a little bit, because I think that they've really taken Twilight Princess's world and decided that's what Hyrule looks like. That's what Hyrule really is, and It's not exactly like it isn't in Ocarina of Time because they never mention the provinces, but they do mention the areas that are in the provinces sometimes. So it's kind of like you can say they're still there in Ocarina of Time, and you can in much of the series. So I think it's kind of an interesting move. We'll see how it pans out, or if it'll end after Skyward Sword. Timbabia asks, how many dungeons do you predict Skyward Sword will have? I'm thinking about between 7 and 9. That's my guesstimation. Zelda Kid 141 asks, do you think that they will bring Epona back in Skyward Sword? No, I really don't, because this. I thought this argument kind of ended after the Loft, the bird was announced, the Loft Wings, but apparently it still keeps going a little bit. There's really no way there's going to be Epona on the land below because there aren't fields to traverse. They are actually complicated areas that have to be carefully navigated. This course would actually just be a detriment. And the fast travel is really provided by the bird to allow you to get to different areas really quickly. The German Legend asks, in your last mailbag you said that you don't think Majora will appear in Skyward Sword. Why not? It seems possible to me, considering that Majora's Mask was created by an ancient evil tribe. Couldn't this be the tribe that Girahim belongs to? Maybe Majora is even the master that Girahim tries to revive? My main reason on this, first and foremost, I mean there are others, but this is the big one for me, is that Majora's Mask was really a side game. I mean, there's no arguing there. It was, by definition. I mean, it fits all the traits of a side game, and the tentative Japanese title was literally the Legend of Zelda side game. Really, quite literally. That's the literal translation of the word Gaiden. As I understood it, anyway. And, Majora was really a one-shot villain, and he was a thing of Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask was really a standalone game in so many ways, because so many themes about the game I don't expect to ever see again, because that's why they were so good, because they were never explained, because we never will see them again. So I really don't think we're going to see Majora again, and there's really, I mean, I've made connections about the ancient tribe of Majora's Mask being related to the Dark Tribe, but that doesn't mean I think Majora is going to be in Skyward Sword. Corn GP47 asks, do you think that the lyre seen in Skyward Sword is the same lyre Sheik carries in Ocarina of Time? Yeah, probably. Zelda Geek asks, in the Skyward Sword intro, we saw the goddess standing by a Goron, Kikwi, Magua, Perella, and something else. Do you think it could be another race we've yet to see? What are your thoughts? It's definitely another race, but I heard from one of the other staff members that we actually have seen, like, its arm or whatever in some of the, the minecart shots and whatnot. I haven't seen it myself, but I'm kind of going to take his word for it, and his username was Locke. And also, he was saying that he resembles the weird little character who's in a throne like Faron's that appears either in the desert or Eldin Volcano. We're not sure from the screenshot. He's on the characters page on the site. We call him Eldin for right now. So maybe that's the other race. I don't know. It's kind of odd. JPod89 asks, I heard that you have to make Link fall asleep to advance the day in Skyward Sword. Is this only available in Skyloft, or are you able to do it in the overworld too? If you don't know, what do you think it will be? I think that you can only do it in Skyloft, but I'm willing to... I mean, they've never confirmed it anywhere else, and I doubt there will be. There's no real settlements in the land below, as far as I can tell. But I bet it will change for certain storyline sections. I'm willing to bet on that. But that's about all I have to say about that. God of Awesome asks, in some ways, in some of the gameplay trailers for Skyward Sword, Link has been seen shooting bokoblins on what looks like a ship. Do you think that this could be the ocean-like place in the desert's background? Yeah, I think it is. I think it looks like the water, lake, ocean area, and the desert area are probably part of Lanayru Province. Kind of like Desert Province gets combined with Lanayru. Maybe we'll see a Peak Province appear in Eldin Province in the game as well, as a combination there, too. That'd be interesting. Roser asks, do you believe Castle Town or Hyrule Castle will appear as ruins in Skyward Sword? No. Juicy J asks, the official Nintendo magazine said that the dark-skinned blonde woman is a very important character and one you might remember from another Zelda game. Since this woman is a Sheikah, do you think that this could mean she's Impa? Yeah, definitely, because unless she's like Sheik or something, like a female Sheik, Impa's the only character she can be. So she's probably Impa, but like another different Impa, kind of like the original Legend of Zelda or the Oracle games had a different Impa from Ocarina of Times. It's probably something like that. I don't think the Sheikah are that freaking long-lived. I don't think so. Snowlink asks, do you think that the Guardians of the Silent Realm are related to the Master Sword Guardians from Twilight Princess? You know, maybe. I can't really say for sure, but there are a lot of similarities, and You know, we don't know what the Silent Realm's going to have to do with the storyline of the Zelda series. It could be like a prototype Sacred Realm. We're really not sure. So, you know, that could very well be the case. And it's something I can't really answer too clearly. It's just something we're going to have to see when the game comes out. Alright, last question. YoLink asks, can you please explain to me why the 3 pearls from the Wind Waker and the goddesses are on the cover of Skyward Sword? Does this have anything to do with the game? Well, definitely it's probably going to have something to do with the game, but really those pearls and the symbols on them are mostly associated with the goddesses. It's like the goddess symbols as I look at it. And they've appeared on the throne of Faron and that other weird character as well, you know, Elden. So, you know, they definitely have to do with the game. Likely what it simply means is it has to do with however the goddesses are going to play into the storyline, whatever that might be. We're not really sure yet. Alright guys, that's it for this time. Be sure to send your questions to the contact page in the description, and I'll see you guys later. Alright, last question. YoLink asks, can you please explain to me why the